It's Tuesday and it's time for Falcon Focus. Happy Tuesday and welcome to Falcon Focus, episode number 14 here in season number 4, our second episode here in the second semester. And big picture, it's episode 99. My name is Matt Menzel, and this week in segment number 2, our focus is on women's track and field. We'll be joined by Maya Helscher, a multi-event specialist, and we'll talk track and field coming up in that second segment. But up first, our focus on women's basketball, the regular season winding down. Before you know it, the NAC tournament will be upon us, and being joined by one heck of an athlete in senior guard Emily Hafman. Let's start by recapping this past week for Falcon women's basketball. And the week began with a contest here inside the John Book Fieldhouse. It was on Wednesday, a victory against Marion, 78-66. In your opinion, when you look back at that game, what was the difference?
We came in, we know we have to come in and win every game at this point, especially as we wind down and get closer to the tournament. And I think we just have a sense that we know we got to finish and put together games.
And in that game, the team was able to knock down threes, hit 9 threes. But I thought one key, too, and I hope you agree, season low, 10 turnovers, taking care of the basketball.
For sure. Taking care of the basketball is a great thing.
Now, you had a total of 15 points, 6 rebounds, 7 assists. Were you pleased with your well-rounded performance?
Yeah. I mean, whenever we can get more people involved in scoring, it's a great thing. And I think we had a decent amount of assists during the game as a whole, and that helps a lot. So, yeah.
It was also a game that would see Erin Vergitz come through with 16 points and 7 rebounds. Also, Lily Guerra coming through with 11 points, knocking down some big threes. How about Saturday? Squeaked out a heck of a 63-61 win at Benedictine. Fell behind early. What was key in getting right back in that game?
Same kind of thing. We knew we have to put together and finish games out and win. We never gave up, even though the first half was not our best showing, not our strongest showing. We talked at halftime. Coach put together a great game plan for us, and we executed. And especially down the line, down at the end of the game, we executed, and that's what really was the difference for us.
And speaking of down the line execution, you came through with the game-winning layup, 2.2 seconds left. Take us through that final sequence.
Coach drew up a play. I know that we were running a ball screen for me, but they had been switching, so I kind of ended up near the baseline with one of their bigger posts on me, and I saw a gap. A couple of our girls had cut through, and there was a gap, and I just went for it and got the ball up and went in.
And a Falcon victory over Benedictine. You came through with a career best of 31 points on 9 of 15 shooting. Got to the free throw line, 13 of 14 from the charity stripe. When you look back at that performance, what was working for you on Saturday?
I had most of my points were in the post, which is where I'm probably the most comfortable. But when our guards find me and we can kind of move in and out, we're able to hit the outside, hit the inside, and go that way. That always works really well for us. And getting to the free throw line was huge, and notoriously something that I haven't always been the most consistent at. But everyone believes in me, and I know that. And so just down the stretch, being confident in what I'm doing and hitting shots.
Outstanding. Again, 13 of 14 from the free throw line. And hot off the press, you're going to be named the NAC Women's Basketball Player of the Week, third time now this season. As a team, the Falcons currently, as we tape this, 11 victories, 10 defeats, 10-4 in conference play, looking to lock up a NAC tournament spot, and also with an opportunity to potentially host a NAC tournament game. We'll see how the regular season winds down, but where do you feel the team is at this point in the season?
I feel like we're really starting to figure things out, and I think we are ready to make a run here. Teams always want to peak. Kind of now is when you kind of want to start hitting that groove, and I really think we're getting there. Offensively, we're vibing a lot better than we were at the beginning of the year, and defensively, we're getting there. We're getting there, but I think we are really starting to put things together, put together whole games, and this is the right time to do it, so I feel good.
I have to believe it's been somewhat challenging. I know every team goes through injuries and illnesses, and this team no exception. It's got to be – I have to believe it's been a challenging winter so far. It's trying to get a healthy roster.
Yep. Every year it seems like it's always something for us, but yeah, it's been tough. We've had a lot of players go down here and there, miss games here and there, but people step up. It forces people to step up, and they do, and we've really grown as a team.
You were no exception. Last year got the opportunity to play in 5 games before suffering a season-ending injury. What happened as far as the injury goes, and kind of take us through the recovery process.
Very vivid memories of it. We were playing WLC at home. I cut across the lane. Didn't go down or anything, but I felt a pretty significant pop. ACL and meniscus. Multiple surgeons told me, don't play on it. It's not worth it. But after they told me that, like, I had conversations with Coach, and she was very much on board with me coming back. So had surgery end of January, started the grueling rehab process for anyone who's been through an ACL, and we've had plenty of them on our team. But had so much support from my teammates, from my coaches, from my trainers. Everyone here at Concordia has been amazing, and they got me back. I was cleared before our first game, and we've been going strong ever since.
So did you know, you mentioned you felt or heard the pop. Did you know at that point that it was pretty significant, or were you just kind of hoping it was just, you're just sound and I'm going to try to battle through?
Yeah, I had no idea it was significant. I chose to not go by our trainers, which probably was not my greatest decision, but tried to go back in, and then I knew something was actually wrong. I didn't think it was that bad. I didn't think it was ACL and meniscus, but it always has a way of doing that too. Yeah.
Now, have you had any type of injury of this sort in the past?
No, never. I have been, last year, when I tore my ACL, those were the first games I have ever missed in my career for injury.
So how difficult then was it coming into this season, just trying to find that confidence, get that, get comfortable again coming off that injury?
Yeah, it's weird. And people explain that to you, and they tell you to be ready for it, but you don't know until you start playing again. Those first couple weeks going back live in practice are a little rough, a little brutal, because you haven't played in months and months. But everyone is just so supportive. They know so many people on our team have been there, been through it, and talk you through it, help you get through the mental aspect of things, and they support you through it all, and that's been the biggest difference for me.
Well, it didn't take long once you got back onto the court. You look at December 3rd against Rockford Alumni Day, and you scored your 1,000th career point. So what did that accomplishment mean to you? Third quarter, and the inbound here for Obery. On the inside, there it is, Emily Haithman. Catch and score 1,000 points with that bucket, 1,001, and this is her 91st career game.
It meant a lot. I mean, you never know if you're going to be able to come back and be the same player you were when you have an injury like that, when you have a surgery like that. And hitting it like that was kind of a goal of mine, kind of in the back of your head a little bit, but just to hit it, and to hit it at home was really cool too. And just it kind of like puts into perspective all the work that you did to get there.
Did you know mentally when you scored that was your 1,000th point? Obviously the crowd helped, but did you know?
I think so. I think I did. I think someone told me at halftime that I was like one away or something, and I was like, oh, great. Awesome.
Did you put pressure on yourself leading up to that moment? Did you kind of, have a clue going into these last few games, going into that milestone that you were this close?
I knew I was like near kind of around the area, but I didn't think that there was any way it was going to happen around Rockford. But we had a couple like really big games right before that, and so like it was not even a thought in my mind. And then someone was like, "You're gonna get it this weekend," and I'm like, "Wait, what are you talking about?" And I was like, "Oh." So I had an idea, but I wasn't like super
sure.
Yeah.
How cool was it though? After you hit the milestone, you look in the stands, they have signs. I mean, the fans were ready for that moment and for everybody just to kind of partake in that special sequence.
Yeah, it's really cool. I mean, you can't really describe it. I had so many like friends and family and people that I grew up playing with, playing against. Some of my former coaches were here, so it was a really cool experience.
And pretty neat that you can make the claim that not only do you score 1,000 points here at the collegiate level, but obviously scoring 1,000 points at the prep level at Martin Luther and leaving that program as the all-time leading scorer. Now you've been with the Falcon program since 2017, 106 games played so far, 94 games started, a lot of experience. Are there games, are there moments, are there trips that stand out so far in your time as a Falcon?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think the beginning of this year, beating WLC was a big one.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's probably one of our biggest rivals, and going in there and hopefully the last time I play in that gym, and going out with a win there was pretty cool, and that was a close game.
How about as far as any winter trips go?
I mean, both of the trips that we were able to go on have been pretty cool. We did Hawaii my junior year, and that was pretty awesome. And then we did Puerto Rico this year, which was also fantastic. I mean, anytime you go somewhere warm in the dead of winter, like after finals are done, it's like, oh, this is great.
It's the life, no question about it. Now, as far as Concordia goes, and I mentioned you've been here since 2017. How did you end up at Concordia?
I mean, it's kind of a family thing. A lot of people say that I only went here because my family's gone here, but I tried to go the opposite route. I was like, nope, I'm not going to Concordia. There's no way. I did not decide on a college until literally a week before high school graduation because I was just so dead set on not going here. And then when I finally like sat down and like weighed through all my options, I was like, I know this is where I'm meant to be and where I want to be. It kind of checked all my boxes. Like I wanted to be relatively close to home. Like I'm a big family person.
Sure.
I knew our nursing program here is fantastic. One of the best in Wisconsin. And Coach Brunner, I knew, works with her athletes and really treats them as student athletes and would be willing to let me do nursing school and go to clinicals and potentially miss practices and stuff like that for my career. And so being able to kind of like check all my boxes was a big thing. And I could not have imagined my college experience being anything different.
How do you think you have grown as a person, whether it be on and or off the court from your time here at Concordia?
I've grown so much. Like thinking back to where I was as a freshman, man, I am a completely different person. Going through the nursing program, our professors are incredible. They guide you into being the nurse you're going to be, and you start your own practice, and I've now been a nurse for over a year, and I attribute it all back to Concordia, and they give you such a great foundation to not only be a nurse, but be a human. And same with basketball. Like you learn so many life lessons from basketball, being on a team, working with other people, communication, standing up for yourself, and you take it all and all these life lessons that I've learned, and it really has shaped me into who I am.
How neat is it? How special has it been these last couple of years getting the opportunity to play alongside your sister?
It's been really cool. I've actually gotten to play with both of my sisters. When I was a freshman, I played with my older sister, Liz, and then while she was a senior. And then these last few years, I've gotten to play with Abby, and that's been one of the coolest things. I never thought I was going to get to play with Abby because we were technically – when I was a senior, she was a senior in high school. And then with the COVID year, I got it back. And playing with her has been one of the coolest things.
Did that just happen, or was that kind of the hope or the plan at some point that maybe that could materialize?
Well, not really. Like, we had no idea. If COVID hadn't happened, this would never have happened. So I honestly never thought it would even be a possibility. And then when they gave us our eligibility back, I was like, oh, my gosh. And then she kind of did the same thing. Like, I didn't think she was going to go here either. And she was like, nope, not going to Concordia. And then when she told me, I was like, oh, my gosh. Like, we're going to get to play together. Like, this is cool. And it's been really great.
That's outstanding. Last couple of years, that's been the case. Now, you look at the current situation. We mentioned the team sitting at 11-10 overall. But, again, the big picture in conference play with 10 victories and 4 defeats. Up next, the Falcons play at Dominican coming up on Wednesday. That's a team the Falcons beat. It was a hard-earned victory here, 75-70 back on January 25th. What do you kind of expect from the Stars coming up on Wednesday?
I expect a game. They are a one-on-one team. They just go. So we got to be able to stop them one-on-one defense. We're missing a couple players that game, and we have a couple of them back for this game. So we'll be back to our normal routine that way. But I expect them to come out hard, but I expect us to come out hard. And like I said, we need to keep improving, keep peaking right now. So that's what I expect.
And one of the key players that was out from that first meeting, Reagan Obrey, number 2 scorer on the team. When you look at points per game, Saturday, among the 4 regular season games left on the docket, team is back home and going to take place here inside the John Book Fieldhouse. A 4:15 start that follows the men's game that starts at 2 o'clock. Edgewood, the opponent. Edgewood, as of right now, has won 9 consecutive games. But I want to bring up the fact that it's Senior Day, and how excited are you for Senior Day?
It's a little bit bittersweet, but it's exciting. I mean, that's going to be another big game, and it's an important game. So I hope we show up and we're there.
Have you had your Senior Day yet, or is this your Senior Day?
I did technically have a Senior Day when I was a senior. That was like the legit COVID,
Sure.
the first year of COVID.
Okay.
So at that point, I don't think we even knew that there was a chance of getting our eligibility back. So I've technically had a senior day.
But is this your senior day as well? Or how's that work?
I don't know. I think
It's so confusing.
It's so weird.
Sooner or later,
So
we will
weird.
catch up, and
Yeah.
that COVID year will no longer be a
Yeah.
thing, and juniors are juniors, and seniors are seniors, and so forth. But I guess finally, as you mentioned, you're a nursing major. So what does life look like for you after basketball?
I've been thinking the same thing a lot. I'll definitely have a lot more time on my hands, which will be really weird. Pretty much these days, I go from work to practice to do some homework, and that's been my routine. So, I'll have a lot more time, but right now I'm working third shift, and so I'll still do that. I'll probably sleep a lot more, but I don't really know right now. I don't really have any plans. I'm just savoring this last time I have left right now.
Well, Emily, I appreciate the time. All the best with what's left of your basketball career. And, again, a couple more opportunities at least to see Emily in person here inside the John Book Fieldhouse. And your first opportunity comes your way on Saturday at 4:15 against the Edgewood College Eagles. When we come back here on Falcon Focus, our focus will shift to women's track and field. We'll be joined by Maya Helscher. That's coming up as we continue on Falcon Focus.
Since 1978, Lutheran Church Extension Fund has had the humble privilege of supporting the Lutheran Church Missouri Synod in fulfilling its mission of sharing the gospel.
Thanks to our faithful investors, we provided thousands of church workers, congregations, schools, and organizations with the resources they need to reach more people with the saving name of Christ. It's what we do.
Because our greatest joy comes from seeing LCMS Ministries and her workers thrive, we will continue to make precious resources available, both today and far into the future. It's our promise to you.
We are Lutheran Church Extension Fund.
We are Lutheran Church Extension Fund.
We are Lutheran Church Extension Fund. We want to be part of your great and exciting work.
Welcome back to this week's edition of Falcon Focus, our 99th episode all-time, but our 14th episode here in season number 4 and our second in semester number 2. And we roll on here in segment number 2 and our focus on track and field. Being joined now by sophomore Maya Helscher, kind of joined us and had a heck of a weekend. We'll get into that as we go along, but I want to start by just going back in the past, growing up. What sports did you participate in?
Oh, man. I played soccer for a few years. I played basketball, volleyball. I was on the ski club. I played cross country, track. I did mostly anything you could think of. I did dance for 10 years. That was most of my life growing up. So I've been in sports my whole entire life.
Well, when you look at running, being involved in cross country, track and field, when and how did your passion for running develop?
Honestly, I think it was just like I knew I could rely more on myself and that competitiveness with myself instead of a whole team. That was what just drew me into it. And I started off with hurdling, and I realized how much I loved that. And then it just progressed into, let's try out the multis. Let's try out all these different events. Let's do javelin. So just kind of growing up and seeing like, I can do this event. I can do this event. I can do this event. This is cool. So that's, yeah.
It's unbelievable. We'll get into your resume in a second when you look at just the multi-events you're involved in. I mean, you got your hand in this, that, and everything under the sun. But when you think back to your cross-country life in high school, and you talked about, getting the opportunity to compete with yourself, if you will, where would you find motivation, just to power through some of those long cross-country events?
Oh boy, cross country was not my thing. It was more of just a social event for me personally, but when you have 3 miles that you have to get done, you're just going to have to push through it, even if your legs are on fire and you just have to hobble over the line almost. I mean, just that spirit in your head knowing hey, you're going to finish this. This is 3 miles. It's only 25 minutes. You'll get it done. Don't worry. And just having that mindset of I can do it. I can do it. And I think that also goes into track as well.
Are you a bigger fan? And I know when you look at how you started at the collegiate level, this would be a yes, but are you a bigger fan of sprints versus long distance?
Yes, 100%.
100%. you ended up here at Concordia by way of Michigan. Why Concordia?
I just loved the lake and like seeing the team. I came here just to visit a random day with Hannah Ebel, and we went to high school together, so I knew some of the team members through her, and that was really cool just to experience like going from high school to here with her. It was cool just to watch. So yeah.
You mentioned like the lake. Is the lake prettier on this side or that side?
That's hard. Because we don't really see Lake Michigan from my side because I'm from Detroit.
Okay.
But we live on a lake. So I personally think Lake St. Clair is the best lake, but that's just me.
Never heard of it. I gotta look it up.
It's small.
Is it?
Yeah.
Did you ever consider, when you came to Concordia, running cross country at the collegiate level?
Mm-mm.
Never,
Nope.
No doubt about it.
I knew that track was going to be the focus, that cross country that was going to have to stay in high school, and I was okay with it.
And sprint and hurdles, the focus, at least early on, at least track initially, but since you've taken on so many other events, how do those opportunities come about?
My coach from high school just told me, hey, you should try out more things. Just see if you can do it, and then I just kind of started doing it, and I don't even know really how it happened, and I just started exploring new things.
I was going to say, have you taken on events that you've never tried before?
This
period?
year, yeah, I've taken on high jump, long jump, shot put, 800. Those are all new to me. So kind of just growing and like learning through it it's interesting because I didn't know half the stuff about it.
But it seems like you've been able to catch on pretty quickly.
Yeah, it
Great
worked
deal
out
of
pretty
success.
well.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
What do you consider to be your strongest event or events?
Definitely hurdles and long jump. I've grown up with hurdles, so I'm pretty used to it at this point. But my times have been going down a lot since last year, so that's been really cool to watch. And long jump, I don't know how that just kind of happened, I guess.
I want to ask about hurdles in a minute, too, because I give you credit. I give all hurdlers credit because my fear would be not being able to get over the hurdle and the pain that could cause. But I know method of the madness. We'll get to that in a second. But this past Saturday, it's the Meyer Accomplishment of the Week. When you look at the CUWFalcons.com, the moment of the week from Meyer was your record-setting performance at the Ripon Red Hawk Invite. You finished second in the 60-meter hurdles, but you set a school record, a time of 9.31 seconds. Tell us about that record-breaking performance.
Oh, man. It was really cool. I was shocked because I knew the competition was hard, and I was fully expecting, I'm like, man, maybe I'll get like 8th place. Like, we'll get around there. And from that previous time, I ran a 9.5. That was the best I've ever ran. And dropping that much with that little of a distance was so cool. And just turning around and seeing my like number up there, it made me so happy.
You knew it right away?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So now let's get into the method of the madness and the strategy. Like in your mind, are you counting like when you have to jump? When do you know to jump? Like how does that all work?
So you count 8 steps to the first hurdle and then 3 in between. So you kind of have to like.
Does that work for everybody or just for you?
Some people can do it faster. Some people can do 7 to the first one, but it's mostly you do 3 steps in between for everyone.
Has it gotten to the point now where it's so routine that you just know, or are you still counting like 1, 2, and what if you forget? What if all of a sudden like you're so focused on the competition?
Bob always tells me that I need to count, so I try and count as often as I can. Sometimes I don't, but I try my best to.
How often have you missed and gone through or knocked over the hurdle?
Like my whole life?
Sure. Has it happened a lot?
Oh, yeah. Especially in the 400 hurdles because that's like 17 steps or something like that. And one time I just...
17 steps?
Yeah.
And you got to count that down?
Yeah.
Good luck. Does that hurt?
Yeah. It hurts you. You'll just kind of like fall and then you're just on the ground and you don't really know what to do. But you just get back up.
That's a good point. You get back up and start trying to, because and you see it all the time, and I've covered enough track and field events to know that if you knock over 1, most likely you're about to knock over 2, 3, and 4 if you try to keep going.
Yes.
So how do you recover?
I don't know. I think you just mentally are so focused and zoned in that you're not even thinking about how you just completely hit one of them. And especially when it comes to like 160 hurdles, they're so close with each other that you're just, if you hit it, you just go. Especially for the guys. The guys are like 6 inches taller than ours, and everyone's just like hitting it, and you just have to keep going.
I can't remember if it was the Nationals or if it was the NAC Championships a couple of years back, but I can remember an athlete that I think was injured, as opposed to trying to jump, just ran right through all of them. It's like boom, 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 boom. It's like that was the method.
Yep.
I mean, I know this might be a simple conversation. If you're a hurdler, you're probably thinking, boy, this is ridiculous. But I'm telling you, when you see these things, it's crazy to me that you guys can jump over them. Because, again, my fear, even if I, for fun, want to, no, because that looks like it's going to hurt.
Yeah.
I give you credit.
Thanks.
More power to you. Now, you also compete in did compete in the high jump this past weekend. It finished in 4th place, 1.53 meters. Your thoughts on your high jump performance?
It was okay. I think personally I can do a little bit better, but I'm just so new to it that I don't really know what I'm doing. So it's kind of just send her in, hope she makes it over. That's how my mentality is. But when I jumped over it, I got so happy because I knew, like, this is good. We're getting better. Getting better. And for the pent, I mean, the high jump has a lot of points that come to it. So getting those points up and PRing, that would just be amazing.
How about a couple of weeks ago, you were in Whitewater, finished first in the long jump. What was key to that success?
I don't know. I think long jump is just kind of the send it and see how it goes. I was shocked about that. I didn't think that was going to happen. I think that I could jump longer if I push hard to it, but I need to get my steps down more. So
you make all this sound so easy. It's incredible. Last spring, you set a program record in the javelin toss at 37.24 meters. What was your javelin experience part of that record-setting throw?
So I practiced with my coach from high school, just randomly in like 7th grade, I think we started, and we just would do little throws. And then we kind of stopped doing it because he wanted me to like more focus on hurdles and multis and stuff. And with COVID, I mean, we had no seasons and everything like that. And then came to college, I'm like, you know what, I'll try it. So I signed up for it, and that was like my first throw in college. I'm like, wow.
Okay, you set a program record.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Again, you make this sound very easy. Goodness. One throw, and you have the program mark. Have you done the javelin toss since, or you kind of like, okay, I'm good?
No, I did it a few extra times. I think I did it most of the outdoor meets, and I'm going to continue doing it for the heptathlon and also just for personal. And that first throw was my best throw I had all season. I don't really know what happened with that, but yeah.
Is there an event that you haven't tried yet that you might like to try?
Oh. I would want to try pole vault or triple jump, but I don't think that I'm allowed to because I just am doing so much on my body every day. So I probably won't end up doing it.
Being that you're involved in so many potential events, first of all, how do you decide what events you're going to be partaking in from one meet to the next?
Me and Coach Joe and also Coach PJ will kind of sit down and make a plan. So we tend to do hurdles almost every meet.
Okay.
Then we'll do one jump usually. And we've been trying to do more distance runnings. So I did the 4x4 last week because I have to train for the 800. So we'll dabble in that, and then shot put we'll put in random meets.
Jeez.
So it's just kind of like throwing
How do you keep it all
together.
straight? Do you have a calendar you have to write down, this is what I'm focusing on this week?
I do. I write down every meet that I have, and I'm like, okay, this is what we're doing. Then we're going to do this, and we're going to plan this. So, yeah.
So how crazy is a typical meet for you?
Oh, boy.
And do you have downtime? Do you ever get downtime? You just go from one event to the next?
Yeah. This last weekend, I had hurdle prelims, and that kind of ran into the high jump. And then we did high jump, and then that ran into the finals. So I had 20 minutes to warm up for the finals. And my legs were already so tired. But I like that. It keeps me energized, and I keep moving around, and So there's not really any downtime besides towards the end of the meet for me. But again, that's what I like. So
They will power through, and more power to you. On the women's side right now, as far as the season goes, I know the indoor schedule is starting to wind down, but how's the team been looking so far indoors?
Oh, man. I'm very excited to watch everyone perform at NAC. I think that our team is getting so much stronger. Everyone's PRing, and it's so cool to watch because, like, you just see everyone performing as good as they can. And especially with this last weekend, we performed in Ripon. Our NAC conference is at Ripon.
Mm-hmm.
So we kind of have that advantage of already performing there and being used to their track. But our team, man, the girls are just, they're powering through.
Is it a pretty experienced team, or is it a younger team?
I would say it's a pretty even mix.
Okay.
Like, there's a lot of new freshmen, but there's also a lot of seniors. But for our grade, it's only me and Callie who are on the women's team that are so, I mean, our little group is small, but the seniors is pretty big and the freshmen are pretty big.
Well, as you mentioned, when you look at the schedule ahead for track and field, the UW Oshkosh Titan Challenge coming up on the 18th of February, and then the aforementioned NAC Indoor Track and Field Championships on February 24th and the 25th from Ripon. With the indoor season starting to wind down, the outdoor season will be here before you know it. For you, is there a big difference competing indoors versus outdoors outside of maybe the obvious, hey, the weather?
Yes, I would say so. I do a lot more outdoor events. So with the 5 that we already have, you add in a 200 javelin, and I'll also be doing the 400 hurdles. So it'll be a lot more, but that's okay. That's what I like. I like having that pressure on me and performing. So
which do you prefer, indoor or outdoor?
Oh. Right now indoor because I'm in it, but probably outdoor. I'll probably prefer outdoor. I do really love the javelin, so I think that goes outdoor.
Would you lose your mind if, say, 2 years from now as a senior, you focus on only one event?
Yes.
So you have to have the chaos.
Yes, I have to have the chaos.
You were also a worker in the athletic communications office, have been the last couple of years. What do you do for the athletic communications department?
I am social media, and I also do the highlight videos and photos, and that's mostly it, I'd say. Yeah, that's what I stick to.
Of those, which is your favorite?
Ooh, photos, but I rarely do photos, so yeah, I just like it.
Have you ever thought about, with the chaos and everything you have going on in the meet, maybe bringing a camera alongside so the 5 minutes you do have on the side, you can go take photos?
I've tried before. I'll take some videos for TikTok content, stuff like that, and it never really works. So yeah, I just kind of have to let it be.
Well, take a look and bringing it back here to wrap things up. As the track and field season again starts to wind down, at least the indoor portion, do you have goals for yourself for the team these last now few weeks?
Yeah, I think as a team, obviously, NAC champs. That is a really big goal, and I think we have potential of doing it. It's going to take a lot of hard work and everyone to be injury-free for a while, but that would be just amazing. And I know us girls can do it. For me personally, I want to drop hurdles, and I want to get the record for long jump, and potentially doing the record for high jump. That's going to be a push, but
I was going to say your name already all over the record book. Add it some more. Why not?
Yeah. And then I want to qualify for nationals for long jump or the pentathlon. So we'll see.
Awesome. Well, Maya, all the best to you.
Thank you.
Hopefully you can keep it all straight. And again, bravo to you for being able to do so to this point and continued success. And again, we thank Maya for her time. We thank Emily Hafman during our first segment talking women's basketball. Again, they'll be back here on Saturday against Edgewood. We thank you for watching Falcon Focus. Join us next week. It's a special 100th edition. We've made it. If you watch them all in order, that's 50 hours of your life you can't get back. Falcon Focus. Thanks for watching this week here on CUWFalcons.com.